Well, hello friends. Welcome back to the channel. It's Angela, the Traveling Crafter, and I am continuing on with my 100 plus series. So if you haven't seen them already, I did 100 plus tag ideas. I did 100 plus envelope ideas or pocket ideas. And I thought, well, I've surprised myself twice that I had 100 different items to show you with those two. So why not try journal cards? And I was delighted to find out that I did indeed have 100 different ideas that I could share with you. Now, when I say ideas, some of these, they are journal cards. So some of these may be things that you would embellish with. Some of them may be ideas. There are a few I pulled from the day that I did the tag ideas that also work for journal cards as well. So let's go ahead and get started. And I hope that this inspires you and gives you some ideas of what you might be able to find. I have had a few requests based on the last two videos to show you a few specific items. So I am going to pull those out, and I think I will do a special video on how to create each one of those. So stay tuned for that. I might even just wait until this airs and then do all three of them together. So let's do this. The first thing I'm going to show you is just a example of some master boards. Now these have already been they were either on, a small piece like this, or they've been cut down already. But this is something I think makes a really pretty journal card. It would also make, depending on how big your pages are. Now, this is pretty big. It's about 8 by 9, I think. An actually huge pocket. But this we did some time ago where I just used antique and vintage photos, and these are the originals, and then I had stamped on this cardstock and then just added that throughout. So a great way to use these as journal cards. Now this one for most of my journals is probably going to be too big, so I would have to cut it down a bit, but there are some that might warrant a size this large. And the second one I wanted to show you is something we did some time ago, and it's literally just I put this in a lot of my binder journals. I love the look of the paint chips. And for my binder journals, I just use, I punch the holes just for one of them. And then I just stagger these in various different ways. So this is almost like an entire page, but the back is all journaling. And really, the front can all be journaling as well. So a unique way to do something a little bit different, but still use it as a journaling card. And like I said, this is something I use in my binder journals. And then the last one is just simply a bunch of scraps on a master board. And you've seen these if you've watched, excuse me, for quite a while. I've done many of these. A lot of people do this. It's a very relaxing way to create easy ephemera. And this just is all neutrals. And again, then it can be cut down and used as your journal cards. So super, super easy. I just had those three and I thought, I'm going to show you those. So let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty. This, I did a lot of index cards at one time. And I talked to you in the tag video about doing more, and I have this set aside to do more side tags, which what I mean by that is really a horizontal tag versus a vertical tag. So I have this set aside so I can create some more, but this would be a good example of a journal card that could be stuck into a side pocket or a tuck, and there's writing space on the back. This is a hidden paper clip. And, well, it's not really hidden, I guess. But this one is just like a mini, tiny little notebook. And it's super, super cute. Very easy. So it just slides on top of your page as such. Oh, this paper is really, there we go. Oh, it looks good on there, too. And there you go. Flippy dippy. And you got a notepad. This is an old book page, and I'll show you several with old book pages. This was in a state of disrepair. It was very fragile papers. So just adding a little velvet and a little lace. There's still plenty of room on the back that you can write. Super, super easy and cute. These are actually coasters. Now, these coasters I bought some time ago in bulk. And what I use them for is, you guys might, if you go to a store like let's say a Macy's or some Neiman Marcus or Dillard's or whatever, and you go to the perfume aisle, they have the little strips that you can spray it, the smell and smell them. Well, I had purchased these for my body sprays and beard balm and things like that, so that the scents could be sprayed on here, and they're really absorbent. And I say that because these really take ink well. And I like circles. I love working with, different circle ephemera. So this is perfect, and it's cardstock and it's heavy. I also have a love for vintage greeting cards, and I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. I probably have thousands, but let's not go crazy. But these are a perfect way to alter, even if they've been used, and they don't have to be vintage, they can be new. But this just allows you, this has a pocket and writing space on 3 sides as well. This I wanted to show you. Oftentimes when I go to thrift stores, I find photo paper. And while some people don't like the shine of photo paper, it has a lot of purposes. So I happened upon these 2 prints that are from the same digital that I did. This is on regular cardstock. This is on photo paper. And there are a lot of things you can do with this. I did a video, and it's been probably a year or more, where I actually showed you how to use alcohol inks on your photo paper. But it inks well with like the StazOn ink and those kind of inks. It prints beautifully, obviously, but don't pass those by. I mean, I wouldn't say buy 1,000 packs of it every time you see them. They are very prominent at the thrift stores and consignment shops. So pick up 1 pack of it and see what you can do with it, because there's a lot of fun things. This one, again, is the index cards, but think anything is your substrate. Substrate, again, means the base that you're putting things on. It might be an old receipt. It might be a tag. It might be, anything that you have. But the premise of this is just layering up and layer upon layer. And sometimes that can really make for a beautiful piece of ephemera. And so this just has all different kinds of, there's wallpaper, there's music paper. This is vellum that was stamped on, that it was just, I stamped off on it. A few die cuts and some labels, and there you go. Now this is actually oh gosh, what was this? It must have been like a file folder type, but it's in kind of a gray color, which I really, really liked. Again, this is a good journal card to use as a horizontal tuck. And this is a great big vintage stamp that I have. So I did a bunch of these and then just did some very simple embellishments. This, I think, is from a magazine, and a little bit of lace on there. This was from, I made this similar to a Polaroid, and it's just an image from a magazine, and then there's space to write. And I personally, when it comes to journal cards, don't have an issue with a little bit of writing on it. As long as as you can still see it, I think it's great. This is a 1943 envelope, and as you can see, it was ripped and torn. And so I took it apart and simply backed it to a piece of cardstock. So now you have a journal card. This one is, this is on a playing card. And again, I think there's plenty of room that you can write on there. If you write with a black pen, it will be fine. Again, this is covered with a piece of book page, I believe. These I did I have a video where I did, I think it was on when I was at the acreage. It was. We had a ton of business cards that, you know, the address changes or your title changes or whatever. You just have, or you just have been given a ton of business cards from random people. These work awesome. And just a little tip, what I do, and just imagine this is this is the part with all the writing on it. What I generally do is I lay down what I want to cover everything. So a large piece of paper, and I literally just glue every single one of these business cards until I run out of paper. Okay. And so I'll do several different rows. Usually I use a 12 by 12 piece of paper, a thin piece of paper. Now the back is my journal cut part, and then I turn it over, and ideally what I do is I start collaging on the entire thing, because you can kind of feel in between each one of your business cards, and I mass make it that way. And then I cut them all apart. And then I might finish them up with some more decor if I want. But it's it's an easy way to do it. I also do that with my playing cards. So just a little tip on journaling cards. Not so long ago, I did an ATC challenge, which is an artist trading card. And I have to admit, I had never done one before. I'm taking a sip of my coffee. Oh my, that's hot. But I mass made these, did the backgrounds, and then altered all of these into artist trading cards. And there's a really fun video on how to do this and just how to knock that background back a little bit so the little baby with the milk carton and the sunflower and such really pop out. And the back is just covered with scraps so that they can be written on. Oh, there's another one of those. I guess I grabbed two of them. This is just on one of those envelopes, you know, the great big mailing envelopes. This, again, I thought would be cute for a cookbook journal. It's got like a vintage looking stove and kitchen. And again, I just backed it. Most of these things are easily backed. Now, this one I think I showed you also as a tag. But I love the idea of writing with a Sharpie on the back of these, and they work really well. And if you haven't seen Demi and I's Sharpie creative marker review, check that out, because they will work perfect on here. And all I did was popped in different papers in each one of the little business card holders. Then I carefully cut them apart, sewed them where they needed to be sewed, which in this case was just the top, stamped on top of them, and there's my journal card. Let's see, stack number 2. This is something that's just kind of fun. Now, this could be a pocket as well, but these are all with scraps. I had cut out some circles for another project, layered it up. These are all vintage on the back, vintage advertisements. And then on this one, I sewed willy-nilly all over it. And I think it's really fun to be able to journal kind of following these lines. It's just a little bit different, kind of quirky. If you have any Rolodex cards, memo decks, these are great for journaling as well. This was a first day of issue from 1996, and I didn't do anything with it. I distressed it a little bit. End of story. Here is one. We did these together. I found these at a thrift store. I've gifted some of them in Happy Mail, but a great journal card. This does have the piece of paper in here. I haven't put anything on it, but should I use it in a specific journal, I can. And it's a covered postcard. So we did a video where I took postcards that, they were, I mean, some of them were old. Some of them were, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, all eras. And they just didn't tickle my fancy. So I just covered them all. And this one is done with greeting card images and then this little vintage, really cool tab that's about 6 inches long. It fit perfect on that. Again, very similar with the postcards. This one we just did, and this is just an embossed piece of paper. I did nothing with the back. Now, this might be a little bit difficult to journal on, but you could journal, you could stick another piece of paper on there, you could pop an envelope on and stick all kinds of little journaling pieces in there, but kind of fun. This one is just with some of my Kool-Aid dyed paper. This was a piece of ledger, and the paper, even the scrap that I used to put it on, wasn't even really square. And I just kind of embraced it and did a little bit of collaging and a little sewing. This one is Kool-Aid dyed paper as well. And this is a good example of how you can use the sentiments inside of the cards to add to your journal as well. This is, I think this was a postcard. Yeah, this was a postcard, not old, but I found this cute little coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, working together is success. Again, postcards are a great thing to cover. I didn't have to cover the front. I just happened to find this Henry Ford quote that just kind of went really cute with the sweet little penguins. So think repurposing and how you can use what you've already got. If it's a beautiful image, why change that, right? Book pages. I do a lot of book pages that I don't use in a journal become journal cards. They become pieces of fussy cut items. So consider that. This is, again, this could be used as a tag as well. These were guest checks. I did a whole video on what is called Whack-A-Stack, which I call Whack-A-Do. And it's a really cool technique by Ann Kenlin that I love doing. It's very cathartic, very relaxing, but a cool way to mix things up. This is just another one where the sentiments were used in this greeting card. I'm sure that's a postcard, yes. Here's another one. This was, gosh, where did I get this? It was like this. So again, if you see something that's beautiful, this is awesome. It says a joyful Christmas, but it would be great for a masculine journal and everything in between. In fact, I'm going to stick that aside and put it in my dad's journal. This one is a scrapbook paper that was just covered with the postcard. I have lots of postcards. There is that's not what I wanted to show you on here. I want you to look closely at this. So if you tear a lot of vintage books apart, sometimes there's a material that actually holds the book into the spine, and it looks kind of like this. I love using that as an element within those journal cards or any of my ephemera. This is, again, just a embossed page that I did cover with coffee dyed paper. And these are antique little die cuts that I took from a scrapbook. And so I just layered that up. This one, I feel like this was a gift, or I bought this like a gift with an Etsy purchase, because I know I did not do that. But it's a cool thing that you can do if this was obviously dyed, and then it was either somebody put a stencil on it and sprayed, or it was dyed again. I'm not really sure, but it's pretty cool, and it comes through to the front. So I liked that a lot. This one was a gift, and I apologize, I don't remember who this was from, but I really loved the way that this looks. So this was the one side. It's a two-sided piece, probably 6x6. Well, it is 6x6 piece of paper. And to turn it into journaling space and to make it more interesting, it was just folded at, one line of where these stamps are, and then you open it up and you have tons of writing space. You have writing space here and on the back. And isn't that cute how this was done? It was, it's a little brad. And then they just tucked in the baker's twine. And this is on there. It's just super, super cute. So I loved that. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. I love these miniature little, well, my gosh, I can't remember what they're called. The little books that you would give as a gift, like for Mother's Day or for a new baby or those kind of things. We had them, my mom had several back in the day when I was little, and they're about this size. I've done several journals and made naked journals from them. And the pages that I didn't use, I turned into journal cards. And I left the sentiment right there. Here's another one where actually both of these are examples. This is just dyed paper, and this was just the image that was left. And on the back is the image from another, or from that page. This one I left, and just how it is, how it came out of the book, and there's tons of journaling space there. Another thing, we did this quite a while ago, and I had this really thin paper on hand, and this is just a cute little birthday, grandma having a birthday party, and I just sewed around it, and now we have some journaling space there. Now here's what I will tell you about grabbing. Here, let's look at this. Here's another one. She's got some attitude. I just used some gold flaking on there, and it's ready. So old photographs are a great way to get journaling cards. And what I started to say is this is an old magazine. And I know that, I shared this when I was talking about Junk Journaling 101, is that, man, I thought I had to have every single thing. And every time I saw something that was interesting, I would pick it up, which then left me with many, 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 many vintage and antique magazines. They are great. But if you have watched my work basket video, I used that entire work basket to create tons and tons of ephemera. One magazine, especially the vintage ones that are quite large, can give you thousands of pieces, literally thousands of pieces of ephemera. So if you're just starting out, grab one. I mean, you find one, maybe you pay a little bit more for the magazine, but use that one. And you'll be surprised at how many different themes or how many times you can reach for that and use it for so many things, not just journal cards, but anything. Same with books. This is a book, and I'm going to tell you what this book is because I was on a video a while ago, and I didn't tell you what the name of the book was because I couldn't remember. And now I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, shoot. It is my very favorite book, and this is my second one that I bought. Come on, Angela. Put your eyes on it. Well, it's not going to be with the... Oh, it's called... These Are Your Children, Expandable Edition is the book that this is from. Now, I use a lot of these images in what I call chroma collage, which, by the way, I need to do a video on what is chroma collage because it's just something I made up, and so I should probably explain it a little bit better. If you like digitals. I have a lot of digitals that are on Ko-fi and on the Maker's Market, both free and for a small price. But if you don't have a lot of vintage, consider digitals. They work great. These, I wanted to show you this because this is from one of my digitals. These are French. They were French postcards, and I love the tinted photographs. It's something I have a small collection from, and I'm just drawn to them. But this is another thing that you can do if you don't have tinted photos. You can tint them yourself. And it just means I have used alcohol markers. I have some photo safe chalks that I've used. I used those back in my scrapbooking days. Watercolors, even sometimes, depending on the paper that you're using, works fantastically. So just a thought. Here is another little Christmas card that I can't remember what this was from. I don't remember. But just on some gold shimmery cardstock. These are some of the chroma collage. This is another great way to use big books. Now these I did, you can find them. It's how to use oversized book page, and it is specifically art books. So all of these were like how to paint, how to draw, how to do this scene. And I used them all just with either the Tim Holtz paper dolls or some of mine or images from magazines. And I love the look of these. I just think that they're really, really fun. I also have a couple of videos that you might be interested in if you love fashion, the 50s, sewing, and so on. Sewing and so on. But these I did, these specifically were from a sewing pattern catalog. And I'm using everything. So this is an old pattern. These were from the pattern book. And there you go. Napkins are another great way. And my hope is by now, if you were a beginner, you were really kind of grasping that and I say it, the possibilities are endless, and the rules are there are no rules. If you think you can glue it down and it's going to look great, then use it, whatever it might be. Napkins are an easy one to use. I have some cute bundles in the Maker's Market that I have sold a lot of them in the past, but you know, again, don't go, if you're going to go out, you may be better off just purchasing from someone like me or someone else who sells napkins. I know there's a couple of makers that do sell them on the Maker's Market, because what I found is I don't need a whole pack of napkins of the same design. And that's why I ended up selling a lot of mine, because one napkin can do many, 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 many projects. So keep some, get rid of some, gift some, sell some. You know, you don't need as many as you might think. Again, this is just using scraps. These are some of my digitals. And I really enjoy making these tiny little envelopes just to stick tiny little pieces in. And I do that because I try to use as many scraps as I can after I've finished a project. And these little envelopes are a perfect scrap buster. They're made out of circles. And then I just use itty bitty pieces of my scraps to make tags to go in them. This one I just wanted, excuse me. You'll be happy to know I have started taking my allergy meds again. So I don't know that it's going to kick in before vacation, but I was like, oh gosh, it's bad enough that I'm in Iowa and my allergies are horrible. But if I'm going to go to another state, I better be well prepared, huh? So anyway, what I wanted to show you simply on this is I like the look of this little tab on the bottom, and you'd probably know that it's perforated, so it will come off, you know, as you pull it in and out of the journal. So just reinforcing it, washi tape, rickrack, ribbon, trims, anything like that will keep it from coming apart. So that's all I wanted to show you on that one. I think, yes, I put aside one of these. This was a huge masterboard, and I just did a big doodle project. We did do this on camera, and then I just cut it all up and turned it into journal cards. But I kept one aside because I think we're going to do some more of those, and I think I'm going to use some of those Sharpie Creates with that. So we'll do the background, and then we'll add some fun doodles. I haven't done a doodle. I haven't done something like that for a long time. These were all stickers, and this is a from a vintage scrapbook. So I kept all the papers because they were in pretty good shape, and then I just did this so that it can go over the page. And I mean, these are not vintage. These are just stickers that I got probably from a subscription box or from Temu or something like that, Amazon. And I really like doing those over the page. Here's another one. Over the page journal cards. Here's another example, but this one I wanted to show you. This was a large magazine page, and sometimes just think about, okay, yeah, it might be too big for your journal as it is, but when you consider taking it down a little bit, you get a new look, and that can make another beautiful look for your journal. So don't throw it aside because it's too big of an image. Think about, well, can I use, proportion wise, what can I get out of it? And I bet you will be very happy with it. Same with this one. These, I think, were from one of my, I think this is from, I don't remember which one, but it's from one of the encyclopedia of, the uppercase encyclopedias. I've done the Bolo books. This is just another one from the Whack-A-Stack. Nothing thrilling. We're getting into some good ones here in a second. This one I just did as a fabric sample. And on the back, it is the journal card. This one, I showed this in the tag video, I believe, or maybe the pocket video. But this also has tons of journaling space inside. You don't have to put the pockets in there, and on the back. This one, again, is another one like that. We made these together, and I showed these in the tag video. So you can put something there, which also can be journaled on, but you have all of the space inside to journal. And, depending on what the back is like, you could also journal on the back. And again, this one we did see in the tag video. But it is also, there's so many ways you can do this. This could be a pocket, but you can just open this up and you can write on each one. And if you saw in the tag video, I showed the one and how I actually secured it, and it was kind of a cute little idea. This too is in the tag ideas, but what I wanted to show you again with this, and that's why I pulled it, is this is an old greeting card. And I love the greeting cards that had like the double fold, so they were folded over, because you have tons of writing space in there, just how it is. But this particular one looks really cute because you can put it in as a corner tuck, and then you can tuck things in it. And then this is just a huge, huge oversized journal card. This is, this was a curtain, and this was some fabric that I had, and I just backed it with the red, and that was a file folder, and vada boom, there you go. And so you can have all kinds of writing space on there. We're almost done. I'm going to pull the rest of them out, put the others back in. Oh, I guess we're not almost done, but there's a lot more in there than I thought. Hang on, let me put these in here and out of the way. Sorry about that. Okay. This one is something that I turned in to look like a stamp. It's not embellished yet. Some of the things in here are not embellished. But this just has writing space on the back that I just glued onto it as well. And the paper was longer than the front, so I just folded it up. This is just literally a scrap from my, that I had in my scraps. It was ripped pretty much like this, and I embraced it. And I just added things to it. I believe we did this one for the Give a Scrap when I used, this is dryer sheet. These are little strands from a chenille dyeing project. These are the little holes from some paper I have. And I just whipped that up. But, I mean, I embraced the fact that it was already ripped. I folded it in half and added some things to it. Here's another one. Same thing. It was already ripped. So then I ripped a backing for it and covered it. This one, let's see. Oh, this, what is this? This was one I just was playing around with. Now it is, there's a belly band here and it folds out. Now this is, the whole paper I actually stamped with different things that I had, different stamps that I had. But if you wanted, and I think this was the stamp off it, was what I when I was doing the project, I just had this piece of paper and I just turned it into a folio. But imagine just page after page and having it blank inside, like a mini folio for a lot of journaling space. So that's a great way to do that. Another greeting card. Did I tell you I like greeting cards? But this is like the vellum thin, almost like a parchment vellum that comes in a lot of greeting cards. I think it said get well soon. Yeah, it says get well soon. So I just made this, stuck this on the front, and then when I'm ready to use it, I can decide what I want to do with it. But I kind of like, you know, the little writing and things, but that's why I popped that in to show you. This is actually a hanky, and this was left over from another project I did where we made hanky dresses. And so I just backed that to a piece of cardstock, and now it's a nice little journaling card. Again, not decorated yet, but it will be. Either is this one. Now, this one, I sewed all of these little scraps that I had lying around. How did I'm trying to remember. I must have just glued them down on my mat and just tacked them in little tiny places, and then took them to my sewing machine, sewed all of that, and then adhered it to a piece of masterboard, and then sewed around all that as well. And it's not done. It's just ready to rock and roll. This is one of my favorite things to do. One of the things that I like to do, and I think I have an example in here. So I do like to print on book page, especially music. But when you can't, or if you don't have a printer, you can get the same look by using your book page and then your fussy cuts from your book or magazine or whatever it is. And that's exactly what this is. So there's that. This is on a jumbo playing card. More book page on a jumbo playing card. This is kind of fun. This is, so each one of these can go over a page, and then you can just use this for writing space. This was just a sample, and it was scraps. But what I did is I actually folded them, and they could all be used separate, right? So each one of these could go over. But I did kind of like the look of the waterfall effect. And so to put all of them on the page, and now you can just flip and have all of this to write on. This paper had advertisements on it. I just embraced it. I'm okay with that. But if you don't like that, use a double-sided cardstock or something that's plain. But just a very simple idea that you can use for journaling space. I apologize for my snotty nose. These are another one. In fact, I just sold a couple of bundles. I don't know if I have any vintage newspaper bundles, but I had a bunch from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And even if you don't have old ones, you can use new, make them look old. But I love the look of these, especially for homemaking and farm and cookbook journals. I just think that they're really, really cool. Yeah, here you go. So this is my faux pas, and we'll see if you notice it. Put it in the comments. Actually, I'm going to tell you, so it's fine. But I had printed, this was, I don't know if I created this specifically for, it doesn't really matter. This was a image that I had that I wanted for my Poppy journal. And I was so excited about it, and I thought it turned out gorgeous. It is gorgeous, right? But I printed it upside down. Love when my heart, upside down. But I am going to use it for that. So this is an entire book page as well. And again, if not every page makes one of your journals, at the end of the time that you make a journal, you know, take all those pieces and say, okay, what can I do with them? And that's usually what I do. And it's how I end up with so much ephemera is I try, just like I did with the Smash a Stack, where I used the 25 pages, left no scraps at the very end. Same holds true. It's why sometimes I don't have a lot of scrap paper that's like significant because I use it all. And I guess that's a good problem to have. There are some times that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to bust into a whole piece of paper. This was a bunch of scraps. So, okay, in here are the tags, but these were just offcuts, and I just layered them up to make this into a pocket. Now, this I would use in a binder journal. This is a vintage little piece of crochet. Yeah, it's crochet. This isn't tatted. And it's just one pocket after another onto the page, but this is actually a journaling card. So if I had it in a binder, I could just flip it over and write on it. If I wanted, I could paper clip it into a journal as well. So also, don't always think that, well, it has to go into a pocket or it has to go into a tuck. You can use your journaling card, the entire thing, as a page. If you make traditional signatures like, pages like this, not to worry. All you would have to do is you could score this right here, add some either some book page or washi tape or whatever fabric, and adhere another page here, and now you have your signature. So either way, it will work. But those great big pages are sometimes fabulous. This is just, I just showed you this one because I like it a lot. And this will go in with my art journals. But again, it was from a magazine, and I loved the image. I am very quick. If you've seen me harvest magazines and books before, I'm very quick at doing it. I know what I like. I know what will work. And I am okay with leaving things behind. And so sometimes, like, I will keep books and magazines, and I'll bring them to the live sale, and I'll just say, hey, I've already harvested this. If you purchase something and you want this book, I'll send it along. Because there's still hundreds and hundreds of things that you can use them for. I just didn't need them. So I don't think a lot about it, which makes it easier when it comes to creating. Otherwise, it would take me forever. This was from a book, but it's one of my favorite quotes. I have this on a shirt. And this is just an idea of a journal, of like a prompt. So we will be doing a planner journal where I am making a planner. It will be a planner, art journal, and like a mindfulness journal with prompts for Demi when she goes to school. So this would be a great idea. And I just wrote on there, list all the things you want to start doing today. So think about that. If you are, if something inspires you, and whether you're making this for yourself or someone else, make yourself a prompt that you can then go back to later. Super, 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 super simple. I do have a whole bunch of meditation, mindfulness, and I have a lot of content. I did a class on it back in 2020, and you have to let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. I don't know. This is a cover of an Ideals magazine. So book covers I've shown you as tags as well. And I use thick ones. I use like Little Golden Book, the Junior Elf books. If you can write on the back of it, then it will work. This was, gosh, I don't know. This was from an Ideals as well, but it's the actual page. And the reason I'm showing you this is don't be afraid to use dark colors on your background. There's something to be said. And if you watch that Sharpie demo, we played a little bit with some black backgrounds. And those Sharpie Creatives markers work great on black. But it's fun to write on it, especially with a white marker. So something just to think about. This is a digital that really, this is more of a tag. But I have both the playing card size and then the large jumbo size that I did with all of the alphabet. And I've had these in my shop for a long time. I believe they're on Ko-fi. I had them originally on Etsy. They are not on the Maker's Market. Now, in the case of a journal card, I would just leave this blank. So it serves a couple purposes. It could be a tag. and a journal card, right? But this one happens to be decorating. This one is a full page. Again, it kind of goes back to, I can use this in a binder journal, or I could just tuck it in and clip it in. But this would be for like a baby's journal. And this is from a work basket. This is the one of the things we did from the work basket session. Here is a more modern card. I think Dave gave me this a long time ago. And I just covered it with some of my Kool-Aid dyed paper. And I wanted to keep this. I love this look. I love old books. I collect old cameras. And I just covered both sides of that. And now I have an entire journal page. I also have made entire journals with greeting cards. So that is another option where you can get lots and lots of journaling space. This one, nothing really crazy except for coloring book pages work great. I have one coloring book, and it's a Vera Bradley coloring book. This is where this is from. You don't need to have 1,000 of them, but they make great backgrounds. And this was from a Pantone book. So this will go into my art journal as well. This, did I do anything with it? Well, it must have been covered, but I don't know. This is from a magazine too. As is this. This one I just used the image, and then you see I used, this is from a pattern, and I used the pattern on the back. Now, I would write on that, but some of you might not like that, so you could just leave it blank. This again, another favorite quote, no rules journaling. This is just a regular piece of paper with a pocket left over from scraps. This right here was left over from the sticker sheet, and I just put that on the bottom, and it's just blank on the back. This is a heavy cardstock, or cardstock. This is just die cuts over a masterboard. This was really thin paper. We did some other projects with this. And I just used a scrap. This was something that I had from when I did watercolors. And what I wanted to share with you with this particular one is sometimes that just adds a little bit of interest. Now for you, you might not think so, because you're like, oh my gosh, that's the scrap that I used to wipe my brush off. I think it's beautiful. And I love getting things like that. So don't be afraid to do that. Well, I'm not sure that there's anything special about that particular one. This is the base. The substrate is a cookbook. So think about when you have cookbook or any type of book pages that have a solid back. If you don't necessarily love what's on the front, you can repurpose it. These colors looked perfect with this pink cookbook. So I just added a few things on there, and voila, journal card. Or you can use it as a whole page. Same with this one. This was actually a tab out of a old cookbook, and this was really damaged cookbook pages. So I just added it, and then added an old vintage piece. It's, as you can probably tell, it's why I love all of those vintage cookbooks, and I keep buying them. This is just a bunch of advertisements. Blank on the back. More collage. I've got a lot of collage ones. Oh, this is, I actually watercolored this and then just kiss cut around it and stuck it on there. This, oh, we did these. We replicated receipts and things like that. And so this is actually an envelope. I left the back blank. And this is a pocket at the top. And then inside here is more journaling space. Very simple. I loved making these, by the way. I need to make some more of these. I do indeed. I've been trying to pop up on occasion on Thursdays. Come on now. Hold on. My computer's doing weird things. Some of my old videos that I really liked, and projects or techniques that I've done, and pop those up so you can go find them quickly. So this one, look at how pretty and glittery this was. And it was like that. And I just used the whole shape of it and left it. Apparently, they got a white tablecloth from these people. We did these recently where we used some, these were reproduction antique advertisements. And this one was for some kind of tobacco. And I loved, oh, the American Tobacco Company. I loved the image, but I wanted to make it more shabby chic for a tea journal. So that's what I did with that. More chroma collage. Another example of that. Oh gosh, I must have doubled up on these and forgot that I had them. This one, oh, I thought it was, but see, look at how fun that would be to write on the back. And this is thin. I left it thin. It's okay. You don't have to have them really thick. This one is one we did recently as well with sewing patterns. Nice little journal card. There's another one with a old vintage label. And then I just covered it. And here's another one. This is file folder. I left all of those pieces on there. I wanted you to see that. Now, the problem with this one is that it might be a little hard to write on with her little brooch there. But and then the last two that I have are just full size. These are the entire pages. These were from, again, from the uppercase, one of the uppercase books. But I love the great, I mean, it's always nice to have writing, a lot of space. Now, you could also make something like this into a writing board. And a writing board is just where you would use more of a, why is my brain not working? Yeah. You know, cardboard stuff. I don't know why I can't think of it right now. That's ridiculous. Or you could use you know, an actual book cover and make something real sturdy so that you could put that in between, like you could put it in between a piece of paper so you have a surface to write on. That's basically what that is. But that, my friends, is all of the ideas that came out of my finished ephemera for specifically journal cards. Now, I know it was very diverse, and I hope that, you know, you picked up a few things that you want to try and you write them down, and let me know if you do, and tell me in the comments what some of your favorites were. I hope this was an inspirational quick video for you guys to get some ideas on, and I thank you for being here. If you haven't joined me in subscribing, take a second and do that. I would appreciate it. Until next time, friends, remember to take time to just be. We'll see you soon. Cheers.